that conversation. But the 3 o'clock hour, we'll be looking at some of the big stories of the day, and someone who's not been on the roundtable for a minute will be joining me any minute now, talking about Kolawole Johnson, a communication strategist, a researcher, he's a columnist, he's a journalist, he's a whole lot wrapped up in one, and he'll be helping us look at some of the big stories. I hear he's stuck in traffic, but he's close to the studio, but we're just gonna start off the stories, looking at some of the bits, and when he joins us, we'll take a second look at that. But let's bring you up to well, not speed, but give you the latest coming out about the jailbreak in Kogi State, where the federal government said they've captured 5 of the fleeing inmates. And the federal government said it captured or recaptured 5 of 12 inmates who escaped from lawful custody during Monday's jailbreak at the Medium Security Custodial Center in Cotton Karfe, Kogi State. Spokesman of the Nigerian Correctional Service, DCC Abubakar Umar, in a statement said the incident occurred in the early hours of Monday, today that is, the 24th of March, and said during the unfortunate incident, some inmate in a section of the facility manipulated the padlock, leading to the escape of 12 inmates. What do you think they locked them with? They asked me padlock. I said padlock, and she said, meaning what? You were hoping it was one maximum security prison where you need some computer codes and then you have to use your key card or whatever. But apparently it's a padlock. It's a medium security, and they thought our padlock is good for medium and all of that. Maximum security, even maximum. I doubt you're going to get anything that sophisticated there. So yeah, it's a padlock, and one of the inmates, who apparently is a criminal, would definitely know some basic crime skills, and manipulated the padlock. What do you expect? Led to the escape of 12 of them. And upon receiving reports of the attack, the acting Controller General of Correction, Sylvester Ndidi Wachko MFR, in collaboration with head of sister security agencies, including the SSA, to the governor of Kogi State, immediately mobilized to the facility, and personnel were deployed to secure the facility, restore order, and initiate a manhunt for the escapees. Well, I'm a little curious, how many of these 12 are they going to find at the end of the day? Remember, it's not the first time we're getting a prison break from the same prison in Kogi State. Yes, not the first, not the second that I recall. Not the third either. So it shows that there's a tendency for, that security breach and a breakout from this prison facility. I wonder why they haven't done any better. So that's something to look at. The Interior Minister said it's something they definitely will be looking into. But what did they look into when they broke out of Kuje? I'm a little curious. What happened when they looked into it? What? Oh, nothing much. I see. So it's just talk then. It's the rhetorics at the end of the day. Okay, until another prison break, and then we're going to looking into it and doing something about it. All right, Abuja. So that's one story. We'll be looking at River State in detail. We'll be looking at also the impasse between the Senate President and Senator Natasha. Well, let's not forget that some people are making a move for her to be recalled, and well, I don't know how that's going to work. I mean, Kogi State people, you guys on fire. The last time we talked about a recall of a member of the National Assembly, a senator as a matter of fact, was from Kogi State when Dino Melaye was acting up, jumping from moving vehicles, climbing on trees and all the random stuff he was doing. And then they thought, you know what, we've had enough, let's recall him. And signatures were collated, and there was a bit of a frenzy. Nigerians were thinking perhaps we're going to see it happen eventually, but it did happen? Absolutely not. The process isn't that easy, and you need that organic will of the people, not a political manipulation for you to actually achieve it. So it fell flat on his face because Dino Melaye stayed to the very end of it and left. Now we're seeing the same repeat with Natasha, who alleged sexual harassment by the Senate President and who has since been suspended for 6 months, and has been going from pillar to post to table her case and grant interview to whoever cares to listen as to why and how all that is happening and how she feels cheated by, the legislative system and all whatnot. Even though the panel is saying, see, we're ethics and privileges. You're invited, you didn't show up, quite disrespectful. And so we suspended you for 6 months. So a lot is still going on. But this recall, do you think it's one of those charades that we're going to see for a minute and it fizzles out? Or perhaps they are very strong-minded people to see this to the very end? Well, only time will tell. But Kogi people, we see, their second attempt at it in recent time, and it'll be very nice to see how it pans out. Meanwhile, Natasha Poti denies apologizing to the Senate, says she wouldn't be silent. Her voice is still strong, it still carries, and she's still vehement about what she sees as, a gross misconduct after a dispute. Okay, well, she was suspended over gross misconduct over the sitting dispute and not showing up before ethics and privileges, even though she accused the Senate president afterwards of sexual harassment. And it's plenty of back and forth going on. So we'll get to hear the perspective from our guest, Kolawole Johnson, when he joins us in the studio. I would open up the phone lines. Let's just get talking. You already know the stories we have on the table. And when our guest comes, we'll get his perspective to this. I see my phone lines buzzing already. You guys are in such a hurry. You missed the top three, all through the months the weeks where we're doing the debate. I feel you. I understand. I missed it myself. So call me up on 0700 951 0000 or 0809 5974 869 or 0809 9930 137. We're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, and it's at Nigeria Info ABJ on Facebook, at Nigeria Info ABJ or Abuja, I beg your pardon, at Nigeria Info Abuja on Facebook and YouTube. Hello.
First time caller. I'm calling from Buhari. How are you?
Welcome. I'm fine and well.
Thank you. You look so beautiful. I've snapped your picture and shared it.
I'm fine. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
I don't want to take too much time. You will not even say all right before I will go. You are the oracle, right? Somebody will call you my oracle. I don't like that name because you are not his oracle, you are our oracle. And you use laptop to find out what will happen tomorrow. So you too are the local oracle. My own is because of the way people are showing love to Fubara. I think after these 6 months, they will come back. That is what I'm thinking. Now, secondly, sister, you remember you were the person on that day that I said, there is one dance I will dance now. Femi D will spray me money. If another person do that dance now, beat the entire house. So now, the reward for speaking out is a recall. But I want to ask you a question that you help me ask Mr. Kola when he comes in. Sister?
Just to let you know, he's stepping in at the moment.
Okay. Mr. Kola, Boshao, welcome. The thing is, I'm confused. My name is Mrs. Someza. I know to go school. Mr. Kolawole, because I want you to start from this. So if you attend a meeting, attendance and your signature after a report or minutes is out, is it the same thing? I'm confused. When people gather for a particular thing.
Mrs. Omeza, what's the question exactly that you're asking so that he'll know how to respond?
What is happening in the country? I want clarification because it's like when you attend a meeting, that attendance, they can use it that you agree with the report of that meeting. Because I don't know what Natasha did that they want to recall her, and I will tell you, if care is not taken, they might succeed. Let me use that English. So attendance, what is the function of attendance now?
Right, Mrs. Omeza, now that our guest is already comfortably seated, we might as well just get started and start it off from this particular story because Natasha Akpabio's situation is still on, and we know that the latest is that an appeal has reached INEC calling for the recall of Natasha. The petition has been sent to them. Members of Kogi Central constituency submitted a petition to the Independent National Electoral Commission requesting the recall of Natasha Akpabio, the senator representing the District. In order to recall a federal lawmaker, a petition must be submitted to the commission's chairman, signed by more than 50% of the registered voters in the constituency, followed by verification, and then you get a referendum. The law provides that a recall process must be concluded within 90 days from the date of the receipt of the petition. And on Monday, Charity Omole, representative of the constituent, said they submitted a petition to recall the senator because the constituency cannot afford not to have a representative for the period that she's been suspended for. So we'll take it up from there. And I know there's a lot of, last week we've been trying to get you in the studio. You're a very busy man, Kolawole. Getting in the studio is a tad difficult. But now that we have you, I mean, it would be a great one to just look and unpack all that's been going on to this very moment of the recall.
All right, first, you said now that your guest is comfortably seated. Who told you I'm comfortably seated? Who told you?
You look comfortably seated.
Anyway, no problem. Good to be here again, and I'm sorry for all of the disappointment. Please, you have to please forgive me. Mrs. Omeza was trying to say something, and I think she captured the two, the two gist on the list. She talked about the meeting. Perhaps if you're part of if your name is found on the attendance register now, can they use it against you to mean you are? That you actually, not that you were not part of the decision, but that you actually supported the decision. The answer is no. Now, if you have a register opened to show attendance, now that doesn't mean that you are part of those who supported a particular matter resolved inside the place.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the law does not even say that you should, that the entire names on the register must support. Unfortunately, the law talks about 2/3. Now, in normal meetings, if you have your meetings and the minority will
2/3 of those who voted her.
No,
2/3 of people who registered.
No. In terms of that meeting,
all right,
the meeting was talking strictly about what happened, the chariot that happened on the
ethics and privileges?
No, regarding the state of emergency.
Oh.
That was a meeting that
okay.
the attendance and and all that talked about. Anyway, so I think she captured the two issues. Though we can come back to that one to explain later in full. Now let's start with the Natasha issue. Now, I think about the first or the second day this happened, that the matter was raised in the Senate chamber. Somewhat, I was on air that same night or the following night on the national television, and I was very careful not to jump into the matter. I was going to take my time, to hear both sides, and all of that. There's something that I've learned in the public space. I haven't spent some time. I know that at times you say some things and you wish you'd never, said those things. But because of ego, you can't go back a lot of times to
take it back.
Yes, take it back. So you just want to maintain that position. At some point, you will not believe the position yourself and stay there. That there's a very right, the very.
They say
right
that if you hear a lie a lot, it almost starts to sound like the truth.
Even to yourself, it will sound like I'm telling you the truth.
It might be the truth.
Unfortunately, or let me say, fortunately, this is our job in perception management. They tell you that just keep repeating the lie. Of course, I don't know. Unfortunately, you again have a population that once the thing is in vogue, we all jump at it. Now let's come to the meat of the matter. On that fateful day, Natasha raised her hand and was trying to talk. And the Senate president said, "You can't talk from there. You know that you are not on your seat." Is that their rule? The answer is yes, it's their rule. And I think I watched Oji Kalo very about on the TV, also saying the same thing, that they change his seat and all of that. And once you are not on your seat, you won't be recognized to talk. Now, she protested. And of course, the energy is there for her to protest. And that is the kind of material you want to see in the Senate. Those who can put up the energy, those who can talk, those who can canvass position and stay with it. She did. But whether you are canvassing position out of knowledge or ignorance, of course, you can come back to deal with that. If you look at the rules of the Senate, if I were Senator Natasha, I will go to my seat and go make my points known. That is strategy. That was not done. So 1-0. So all of our attempt to talk was being rebuffed. And that was seen, or that was interpreted to me, no, they were trying to silence her. But I think differently. All she had to do was to go to the seats that they allocated to her and talk from there, make her point. It was being televised. She would have maybe won the battle at that point. Now, they changed my seat, they didn't change my seat. The next thing was sexual harassment allegation. Hi. So I was asked on that day, what was my position? I said, well, the Senate president, I don't want to be so in ash on him, but everyone knows that each time I'm on air, I mention the man's name for the wrong reason. And I say that with all confidence. Left to him, I should not be alive anyway.
Yeah, people will not understand the context of that,
worry.
but you had the NDDC saga that you were in the forefront of it.
I saw hell. Left to him, I should not be alive. But God kept us. We're here today. Not. It's only by His grace. I don't think when I'm writing my stuff, I will write some few things that I think will shock people. I don't die before I came back. God's grace, anyway. So now the man had a case before. He had an allegation against him before that he did not prove to be wrong. Yeah. Joy Nune accused him.
Yeah.
And that accusation did not even come from the place of weakness. The woman said, I slapped him. So the woman was not even appearing like a weakling that he was trying to harass me. He said, no. He was trying to make some passes and I slapped him. Come and tell the public why I slapped you.
All right, let's go for a quick break. Sorry.
To earn their urgent 2K, to the farmers, scientists, teachers, the doctors.
Hello, my name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
Somebody accused the Senate president before, so there was already a standing allegation of such against him.
A tendency of him to do such.
So anything that comes in that area would ordinarily appear that because there's something called schemata in PR. The totality of the information you have about the person, and of course, what will play was this man that's what they do. But again, from the other side, the Natasha that was accusing. Remember, also sometimes ago she accused someone of same thing.
Who?
Reno.
Well, I think they clarified what that Reno's one. It wasn't really.
Let me tell you.
Sexual harassment.
Let me tell you. She said Reno was making passes at her in a certain party like that and all of that. And the guy said I was not around. As much as I don't like Reno. But fact is fact. He said I was not around. I wasn't even in the country at this very time you were saying. But Natasha went on air, did a video, and was putting holes in the guy's defense that it's a lie. You were around, you made these passes at me. Then the guy now released the full evidence and said, no, look at all of my password, it was stamped out, all of that. And Natasha went ahead to delete everything she has said before. And the guy said they paid him, that they called him and they paid him off when he wanted to go to court. What am I trying to say? Without taking sentiment or taking, if you look at the issue holistically, they both had the negative perception in the public space. One was accused. He didn't prove it, otherwise. The other one accused and withdrew it, erased it. So we should now be careful on how we judge. So let us look at also deeper issues. She said he did this to me 2023. Now, you are talking 2025. Okay. Is there any timeline? No. But was there any underlying issue that was responsible for this talk now? Yes. Prior to the seat outburst, she was removed from the Senate Committee on local content. And we know that is a very, very juicy, committee.
I don't know that.
I know.
Okay.
Nigerians know.
Really? Maybe not speak for every one of us.
Nigerians know. Unfortunately, this also will teach us a lesson in our leadership recruitment process, where the fact that you are close to someone, or you're close to the husband or to people, you put them in position without looking at the merit.
No, I don't understand. Your tone sounds like you're already exonerating the Senate president from the allegations against him.
I'm about hanging him further.
Maybe you need to hurry to that.
Somebody got to the Senate, first timer, and you handed over such a committee to her. When you have former governors, people with experience in that industry, knowing well that her husband is a player in that industry, and you handed it to her. Should I not tell you that there's an internal arrangement there? Apparently their business fell apart, and they now want us to take sides and be supporting them. Apparently, these guys, well, I'm not saying this categorically, but it is possible that they deliver this, top chairman, because you are not giving such committee, and the leadership will just turn his back at you. It happens in places. You run a very terrible feudal system where they put people in positions and they are meant to, to pay kickback. Unfortunately, their loyalty is not to you, the Nigerian people. It is to their paymasters, those who put them there. So apparently, maybe they were expecting some deliveries that was not done, and they had internal issue. They kicked out, and they started making all the noise, and they want us to take a side and disturbing our stuff. That would tell you again the kind of country you have. A poor man is looking for work with first class, with second class upper. He's not getting. But a person who, because your father is this, or you have some relationship, you get that position. I have seen second class upper riding Okada in this city. Whereas you have third class, lower, pass, having jobs in top places. Again, this is a lesson in that direction.
You do not see Grace playing out his lesson. You're seeing. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Go ahead.
Paul said, I hope you know that I labor more than you all. Though I have what I have by his grace, I labor. Grace does not forbid us from putting in the work. In fact,
who's to say they didn't put in the work because they came up with a second class lower, a third class?
Grace is responsibility. I am saying that when all of us line up and do not go to the back to pick. Start picking from the front.
I was referring to the certificate thing, because we're a certificate nation. So sometimes we undermine people's capacity and competence in a lot of areas.
What I am saying. You also
what you came up with. So someone lobbies their way and come out in first class, and you think.
Terrible system in the classroom. You have the lecturer that will give the best mark to a person that maybe went behind to do something, and the guy who has labored so hard, you give him some. You won't even give him what he or she deserves.
All right.
It's the environment.
Let's not digress too far.
We're not digressing.
All right, then.
So that played out in the Senate, because you ask, what experience has she got to be given that committee to manage and supervise properly? I don't think she's got any. I don't think so. But she got it because she knows the Senate president, and I dare say that their relationship, of course, way back before she got to the Senate. And of course, we heard the news in the space where they say, oh, the husband is the family friend. They have all been together, blah, 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 blah. What family friend? What exactly was the husband doing for the Senate president? Again, people should go and interrogate that too. Of course, I don't want to say too much, okay? But investigate that, interrogate that part. So this is family issue that that went awry, and they wanted us to take position. And I've also seen some drama being played out. As much as I think I will not want to canvass any position that will exonerate the Senate president, but I've seen dramas. I've seen dramas in all of this. I've seen tears that that these are just not just acting. I've seen that, and I've seen some things that I don't think is necessary. Now, if they set up a committee, they say, okay, go present your evidence in the committee, and you went to court to stop that committee from sitting, I should be questioning that also. I'm not gullible enough to just take you because you're crying. Oh, no. And why is it that the other female senators in that place did not support her? They were even angry that she came from the back to just get the position. All of them would have loved to have. So I think Nigerians should be careful how we throw our support behind these guys. When they sit together to share the spoil, you're not there. So when things go awry between them.
No, but this one involves people, because if you're having her suspended, that means absolute zero representation.
Let me get there.
For the constituency she represents.
Let's go to that place. This will also teach us to test the law. If I would have gone to court to stop that process. Of course.
Which of the process?
The suspension.
Okay.
It should be upturned. Do they have the power to deny a whole constituency of representation? You now have some folks now coming out to say, oh, because we don't want to stay without, as though they could do that on their own without being sponsored. You already know that they are being sponsored. There's no gain, pretending about that. And of course, it is the same political game. I can assure you that she's now having two strongholds coming together against her. The home front before, those who did not want her, those she fought tirelessly, those that she defeated through the vote, those who wanted to deny her that position before, and she fought them through, both on the ballot and in the court to emerge. And now those that she has gone to meet in that same place. Now, for me, I think clearly that Natasha is a warrior. She's a fighter. And I think without prejudice to this issue on ground, you need such women in the public space. Again, they also need to put their hearts together to ensure that if you don't want to be caught in the web of the men's game, play your game very correctly. Right. All of things we are hearing, he said I should send the color of my underwear, I should touch it and smell. He asked to grab my butt. Okay, I agree. Okay. I said you should grab it, but when he was holding it for too long, I now left. Please stop this trash now. My wife, you will request to grab that butt, and she will say, okay, you grab and small. Now go shoot you.
He's just joking. He doesn't even gun.
Clearly, Kim, clearly, in between them, there is something more than we know.
Apparently.
You can see that clearly, right? All right
then. Apparently. Well, let's get some feedback and we get to the River State situation. Well, Kolawole Johnson has given us his take, and apparently he's, when you dive deep down a rabbit hole to just look at all sides and interrogate it beyond the surface is how Kolawole has taken a look at it today. Let's hear what this caller has to say in response to that. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Welcome.
Ramadan Karim. My name is Musa.
Welcome, Musa.
Welcome, our guest.
Thank you, Mr. Musa.
Yes. Sister Kim, point of order. Sister Kim.
What is it?
Yes. Please, this is our guest. I just have one simple question for him. Sometime when there was a bomb at, those states, at a war, he was in this platform to say that was committed by Fulani people. But later on, as of today, some people from Koji have been prosecuted. Can you apologize to the Fulani, please?
Okay, I'm going to just cut you off because...
No, leave him.
First off, it's a different conversation
see,
altogether.
Kim, we have a responsibility in the public space. See, this platform we have today, we won't have it forever. what we'll do will stand either to speak for us tomorrow or speak against us. So if he has something he's not clear about, let me clarify it for him. I was never on any program to say it was the Fulani people. 1. 2, on the bombing issue that happened, the security guys came up with different things, and I don't think I'll be the one to be speaking for the security.
Kolawole, thank you very much. We don't want to go down that road with this particular story.
Number 3, if he can provide any evidence where I said it was so people, I think it would have been good, but it was an allegation out of context. I never said that. And besides, if I cite any Fulani guy doing something wrong, I will come out to say it and I own up to it.
All right. Let's hear another caller. 0700 951 0000 or 0809 5974 869. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Adeola Victor.
Go ahead, sir.
As a matter of fact, I've said it already on this platform that there are some things that Natasha is not telling Nigeria that really happened between two of them, between Natasha and the Senate President. You see, at times, some people want to use emotions, sympathy to get the support of Nigeria. We are wise, and we know. I have said, and I will continue to say, let us produce concrete evidence or evidence to back up our claim. You see, without that, Nigerians will find it difficult to believe us. Is it conversational evidence? Is it by touching a hand? Or there are other things that we don't know.
All right, sir.
Your guests have already spoken. You see, when they are enjoying their goodies, sharing money, sharing good offices, we don't hear them all. But when things fall apart, we now we have it and we continue to support them.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's take this caller and then return back to our guest. Hello. Good afternoon. Hello. Okay, I think you do have a network problem, so it's not enabling your connection. Hello? Yeah. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Madam Kim.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much. This is David calling you from Durham.
Go ahead, David.
On the Natasha saga, this call of is it recall, right? It's not going to work. The same Kogi people, they tried it to generalize, and it did not work. Now, there's a friend of mine in that place. When I tried to verify for him, he said they didn't tell them that they are coming to recall Natasha, that they are coming to empower, they are coming there so that they can be empowered. And now, dubiously, they now collected their names and signature.
All right, in summary.
If they come out to say they brought them here in order to recall Natasha, that in fact they are going to stone all of them away.
All right, sir.
That's the story.
Thank you very much. Okay, saying it might not work after all. So, let's look at another story quickly, just merge them neatly together. Mohammed Idris, Minister of Information and National Orientation, says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu ends the emergency rule in Rivers as soon as normalcy returns to the state. He spoke in an interview recently that as soon as he assesses that sanity has returned to Rivers State, will ensure the restoration of all democratic structure in the state, and added that the president will not wait a minute longer than necessary. The minister said there were no ulterior motive behind the president's proclamation, just to ensure that there's peace and tranquility in the state. And once sanity returns to the state, democratic rule returns. But help us understand by the definition of sanity from Aso Rock. Because I need to do the yardstick for measuring sanity.
Read your titles again. The Oracle. Start now. Start, I beg.
I do not understand. What do you mean that when normalcy returns?
You should read I should understand the language. The language. Oh my God. Okay. This is a very serious,
Indeed it is.
Very serious issue. And there are things we joke about in Nigeria that if it happens in other climes, I don't want to call them Senate climes because I say I am saying. So the place will burn. I remember in the United States of America some years ago when Trump wanted to assume, the power that he never had. You had the vice president standing up to him, Pence. Of course, he's paid the supreme price, and the president, Trump, has refused to, pick him back. Leaders have that tendency to go overboard, to overreach themselves. It is the presence of institutions, strong institutions, that will always not just curtail them, or that will put them to size. My dissertation in Salford, Manchester, is identifying some key factors responsible for poor deliveries in government, and corruption is one of them. Weak institution comes second. I'm talking with empirical data. Weak institution is one of them. So we lack that in Nigeria. I want to go beyond what the president did to again come to the National Assembly, because the president is just one person. You see those people there, they are strong. In fact, they are strong, if not stronger than the president. They can reverse whatever the president has chosen to do. But unfortunately, they choose to stamp it. And I was expecting that we'll have some noise out of the place, and they will maybe find a way to reverse it, and the president will move to plan B. I want to assume that the plan B will be very simple. If they had reversed it, they will provide security for the House of Assembly members to impeach Fubara almost immediately, even without going through the process. Again, that will again be disastrous. So no matter how you see it, it has gotten to a point that any action you take, you will have some very serious side effects. And that is what happens when issues are not nipped in the bud. When you allow issues to dovetail into crisis, there is no solution you give that will not leave some scars in place. So such is what you have in reverse. So let's try to understand it. And the president has the power to declare the state of emergency. And I try to sit in his position to see how would this have played out. Now the president sat and saw that the most important oil pipeline, the oil line was going off, unfortunately. And that was a time that, part of the vessels Nigeria loaded on the 12th, even 13, was never sold in the market. Yes, Nigeria is facing stiff competition now for our Brent crude. So we are no longer the darling of oil to just buy our crude. Now, when you had a situation when the oil output was low, we felt it in the economy. Things were going down. In fact, oil production capacity or daily delivery went from 2.3 or 2.1 million in 2015 to 900,000 under the last administration. And we kept sinking into debt crisis. So we got into that point. So I don't think any president will want that to happen. Now, how best would you have curtailed that? Since these two sides are bent on destroying themselves. State of emergency was not out of place. My own opinion, please. Now, yes, because of all things, I mentioned on national television.
But couldn't we also have seen a different kind of mediation?
Yes, I'm coming. Now, was that the very Fox time? Did you listen to what the Supreme Court said? Right? Did you listen to their judgment? Okay, let me tell you the part that got me interested. They said there is no democracy again in Rivers State. You may agree, you may not agree. They gave the reason. They said you have three arms of government that always make up the, what you call democratic regime. But that the governor went ahead to destroy one of them, which was the House of Assembly where they sit. The building was pulled down completely. Now, that was an overreach. I told a friend of mine that was shouting, the president of our region, I said, yes, please leave us. We can say that, not you. I said, don't say it. I said, I can shout that to the top of my roof, and I mean it, and I'm saying, and I'm doing that. But he cannot, because when that guy pulled down the House of Assembly and we said, no, Fubara, we've been supporting you, but this one is wrong. This one is bad. Some people were hailing him, saying it was the right thing to do. Now, if you said it was good for him to destroy an entire arm of God, so why do you think it is also wrong for another to do the same? So for me, I think what he did is wrong. And those who did not caution him then should not even come out to talk now. They should leave people, same people who condemned that act, to also condemn the president for what he's doing in Rivers today. Now, so I assume that he was left with no choice than before they return us to the days of militancy in this. If you don't nip, you should. We sat in this same studio, King, long ago. I said what they did in Benue State, Atmen, that if we don't curtail it, that the thing will spread around the nation and we'll have the breakfast, right? Remember? Right? And I said, at a time will come that we'll get into food crisis. Have we not gotten into it? If we cannot sit down, look at data and extrapolate and nip issues in good time, we're in trouble. So I suppose the president took that step. But where we had issues was suspending an elected governor, an elected members of House of Assembly. He does not have the power to do that for any reason. And some said, because suspension of the state of emergency means suspension of the rights and privileges.
It just feels that way, because once you call for a state of emergency, you're asking the military to sort of take over.
Now, let's also have
temporarily.
Let's also go historical. When there was communal clashes in Plateau State, Obasanjo then declared state of emergency and removed the governor. No problem. But we also had another one under Jonathan. When there was insecurity ravaging some part of the Northeast. So Borno State, Yobe, was it Adamawa? Then had state of emergency and the governors were not removed. Now, I've also had arguments. They say, if the president had done that the military or whatever will be difficult to operate side by side with the actors in the game. Now, there may be sense in that the actors, those who are really causing the issue, that you can't exist with them. But I think we'd have found a way around it without acting outside the Constitution. And I think I want to please employ those who can to go to court, not just to reverse this, no, so that the courts can have a definite pronouncement on this, so that tomorrow a president will not wake up and do, because you can as well go to Oshun and say, Oshun, you are not in my party, that declare state of emergency, so that we can avoid this. It may lead us into anarchy, so that we can avoid this. People should go to court so that we can get definite pronouncement from the courts. Now, the principle at play is very simple, that when the Constitution is silent on some things and is explicit on some, you can only do the one that is explicit on. Now, that the ones is silent on, you're not supposed to. But if it is explicit that you cannot do it, I don't think there will be any argument on
That's
this.
true,
So for me, this will also help us to enrich our jurisprudence. It will also help us to also enrich our democracy by having definite pronouncement from the court. And of all that I've looked into, I think those people we should hold responsible more are the members of National Assembly. One, their own rules. We are hearing rumors that they also that there was some circumvention, along the line to arrive at
their conclusion.
At their conclusion. Then some members said, no, you didn't have the two-thirds, but we were not there to see all of this. But I think I was expecting the National Assembly to do the needful to say no to this. Now, when I canvassed that position, and I also look at the other side, if that had happened, you can trust the president. He will not take no for an answer. The next you will see will be to just provide security for the House of Assembly members to impeach Fubara. Maybe this would be what will bring the peace somehow, some way. Maybe. Because you can be very sure that Fubara getting out now, they are strengthening that guy. He won't come back as the same, follow. He will become strengthened, strong, and much more daring. That you've done your worst. You can't do. Can you do more than this one again? No. And I think he will take his chances within this. In fact, once he gets there, he will take his chances. But I think, if you look at Rivers from time, this interplay has always been there.
Yeah.
So it is time maybe we should all call on the fathers of the state, the elder statesmen, the business community, to also sit down and ensure that there's a lasting solution to this. I don't want to start calling the name of a man. I'm avoiding it because the man cannot be bigger than the state.
Well, we've seen a man who seemed to be bigger than a political party that is bigger than a state that is powerful and wealthy. And for a lot of people, it's almost an enigma how this one big individual gets to do all of this.
Institutions that we have is responsible for this. Again, the public space is responsible for this. No matter how terrible some leaders are, you will see followers that will be hailing them and say, "No, you are the best thing to happen to us after jollof rice." We must stop this, this slavery mentality. The same person you will see crowd see in those days when we were growing up. If you're seen as someone that if you don't meet those, that doesn't meet rather those criteria of omoluabi, of a good person, the community will practically sideline you. You can't give anybody biscuit and they won't take it from you. You can't even give anybody money and nobody will collect it from you. But today the man will he was even giving Kai.
All right, well,
he was in Calabar and they gave him, honorary doctorate. That is the kind of thing. Okay, now come. Go to the school and say, school, how can the citadel of learning, institution like, I'm saying, will be given awards at this period to Akpabio and Wike? That should tell you that the corruption, the moral, it's if it has gone to, it is everywhere, even in religious houses, unfortunately.
All right. Let's get to hear from you. Let's hear feedback from our listener. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you. My name is Comrade Celeste. I want to ask the big guy there.
Ask him.
Three questions.
Go ahead.
Number one, I want to ask for Natasha and Akpabio. Is it, I know that Natasha accused Akpabio. Is it when somebody accuses you, you're supposed to be in the office to decide your case or to step down? Number one. Let us go to River State. For the House of Assembly, it was long overdue to demolish House of Assembly in River State by the former minister, the Minister of FCT, before it passed to this man now. So if you find out in River State, that house is leaking water for a long time, and it's demolished. It's not demolished for the politics. It's demolished because of the project they want to do in the House of Assembly.
All right.
They don't want to demolish it. So it's to find out that one. And the way they remove this man, is he in the law? When is the law? Let him know. There is the law. The law Nigeria says so, that the president is supposed to suspend this man.
All right, sir. All right. Thank you very much. Let's hear another caller. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
In fact, Mr. Kola, a very big round of applause for you. Wow, this is analysis at its best. Mr. Kola, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I beg, make him give you one big round of applause.
Go ahead. Your time is ticking.
Yes, you said it all. What do I have to add again? You said it all. Thank you, King.
Thank you very much. Let's look at some of the comments. Let's look at one or two. Joy is already standing by for the news. Let's take two comments quickly.
Okay, this is from Oludade Abiodun. Good afternoon, Kim, and the guest. I deeply appreciate Mr. Kola for his comprehensive analysis. Please, people should be honest with their views and stop needless sentiments just because you hate somebody. Whatever they say against him or her, then is the truth. And the same people will still be parading themselves as Christian and good Muslims. We need to kill sentiments in Nigeria. And this is from Ambassador Afam. Kim, Kogi Central is being engineered by the former governor. Yaya Bello to recall Senator Natasha because he is interested in the seat. We have Joe from Guangs. Joe said, please, amiable analyst in the studio, we have it on record that the same Natasha also accused her now current husband of sexual harassment and dragged him to court. Also, what do you have to say about this? Considering her accusation of Reno Ababio and the former governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, of victimizing, await your input, please.
All right, let's leave it at that. Thank you very much for your comment. We'll take the news from Joy and would wrap up immediately after with our guest. Stay with 95.1 Nigeria Info.